Welcome back to our Steven. Somebody remind me to cancel that free trial that I'm enjoying before I actually have to pay for it. And today, from parents insisting their child is more important to families suddenly reappearing after 15 years of no contact, we've got some wild entitled parent stories, all starting with a post titled, "My mom called my landlord to complain about the way I decorated my own apartment, and I only found out because my landlord called me confused." I moved into my first solo place 8 months ago, and it took me forever to make it feel like mine. I painted one wall in my bedroom a deep olive green, hung shelves, put up photos, got curtains I actually liked. Nothing was done without checking my lease first. No damage, no violations, just a space that finally felt like it belonged to me. My mom had visited once back in the spring and spent most of the tour telling me the green wall was depressing and that my shelves were crooked and that the curtains made the room look smaller. I listened, said I liked it, and moved on. I thought she had too. Last Tuesday, my landlord called me and opened with, "So I got a bit of an unusual call." My mom had phoned him directly, introduced herself as my mother, and told him she was concerned about modifications I had made to the apartment and wanted to know if he had approved them and whether there were plans to address them before my lease renewal. My landlord said that he had told her he had no concerns about my tenancy and that the apartment was in good condition, and she apparently pushed back and asked him to take another look because she felt things had been done that could affect the property value. He called me purely because he found the whole thing strange and wanted me to know. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to say to him. When I called my mom, she said she was just looking out for me and that if I had a problem with it, maybe I should think about whether my decorating choices were actually as fine as I thought they were. She genuinely did not seem to understand why I was upset and kept reframing it as concern for my future and my rental history. I told her clearly that she is not to contact anyone in my life about my living situation again. Not my landlord, not my employer, not anyone. She said I was being dramatic and hung up. I'm still angry, and I honestly don't know what the next step looks like with her. Anybody else hear what that mom has to say and thought, "What a crock"? And I mean that sincerely, what a crock. Well, honey, I'm just looking out for you. Yeah, by going behind your daughter's back and calling the landlord to be like, hey, did you see what my daughter did? Is she in trouble? Can you, prevent that? Looking out for OP, yeah, okay. A user named Pilot Environmental left a comment saying, "Your mom was lying to you. There's no way she thought she was looking out for your best interest by telling your landlord you weren't following the terms of the lease. This is about your mother trying to control you, not accepting your choices, and deliberately trying to sabotage your relationship with your landlord. Honestly, I don't think you're angry enough. Your mother needs to recognize what she was actually trying to do and be honest about it with you. She needs to give you a sincere apology, and she owes your landlord an apology too. If it was me, I would be making it clear that until I see some changes, we were going very little contact. This was such a violation of your privacy and such a lack of respect for you as an adult that it boggles the mind that a parent would do that. If you've had a different type of landlord, this could have significantly have damaged your reputation." The OP responded, "Yeah, she knew what she was doing. I am ticked, just trying to not blow up and hand her ammo. Little contact is probably next, but I want a real apology first. Not, I was worried." Another user named Own Cupcake left a comment saying, "Does she live someplace with an HOA or similar? Might be fair play to call in some potential violations for her own good." The OP responded, "Nah, she rents a regular house, no HOA drama. She just can't stand me making choices without her. Calling my landlord was pure control, not concern, just control." And speaking of potential violations, if you want to help support more videos of crazy entitled parent violations, the best way to do so would be to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Our next story is, "My child is more important." I posted this about 6 years ago on another account I never used, and I only just noticed it was deleted for being a new account or having new karma. So I figured I would post it on the account I use on the daily because it brought back some major memories. I really never thought I'd have a story to post here. Working at a school, I have lots of parents that can be deemed entitled. but I think they just want what they feel is best for their kid. Like, they know other kids need to be accommodated too, but this one takes the cake. It's short, but here we go. Backstory: I work in an office in an elementary school in the city, and I coordinate transportation for the kids at said school. Today was the first day of school. Everyone was confused. There was this new app that we were using that someone developed for us that was glitchy and just plain not ready to be used yet. Parents were, understandably, frustrated, and so was the transportation team, us. Now, after the morning rush of confused parents, there's about 3 parents left in the office when an entitled dad comes in and walks right up to my desk before any of the other parents who were already there could get to me. Now, this happens a lot, so I think nothing of it, and the man seems polite, right? Now, I honestly cannot remember word for word what he said, but I remember vague details and points of the conversation very well, but it went like this. The entitled dad said, "Excuse me, I was wondering why my child's bus stop is at street name corner." I replied, "Sure, can I have the child's name and address?" They say, "Yeah, it's insert address and name." I pulled up our route map and our bus stop, and the stop is less than 200 feet away. This is quite literally a 30 to 45 second trip down the block. So I look at the computer, completely dumbfounded, and then I try to put back on my customer service face. "I'm sorry, what was the problem you were having?" He responds, "I was wondering why the stop wasn't in front of my house." I tell him most stops aren't in front of families' houses. He responds, "What am I supposed to do when it's raining or snowing and my child needs to come home on the bus? It would be easier for me to just get her off the bus and take her right into the house. Am I supposed to wait 20 to 30 minutes out in the cold for her?" I blinked. Now, during that blink, I wanted to be a jerk and say, "Umbrellas exist?" I also wanted to tell this man that he's lucky his stop is this close, when many other parents have stops upwards of 3 blocks away, and he should be grateful. But I did not. I just stared at him for a second. The entitled dad repeats, "So why isn't the stop in front of my house?" Me, obviously getting irritated as the parents behind him look at me. "Sir, we have over 400 students in this school. If we put a bus stop in front of every student's house, your child would never get home." The entitled dad responds, "But what about her safety?" I tell him, "The student safety at our school is our top priority, which is why we—" "Then why is the stop not in front of my house?" As I said, if we put stops in front of everyone's homes, your child would never get home. "Yeah, well, she's more important than everyone else." And he walks out. I say, "Tell that to the other parents." I'm sure he didn't hear me say that last line, but the 3 other parents behind him that he jumped in front of did, and they weren't happy with him either. I apologized for their wait and continued to assist them with their actual problems. Obviously, this guy is an utter goof who has no idea how public school transit systems work. That said, if I was this guy's kid, I'd be pretty happy. Because, hey, if they could make a big enough stink that they could move the bus stop somehow to right in front of my house, I would have been pretty geeked out as a kid. Growing up, I got pretty lucky that most of my time on the school bus actually did have a bus stop that was right in front of my house. But when I got into high school, that did change, and I remember not quite enjoying as much the fact that I did have to walk 2 streets down at 6:40 a.m. to the bus stop. A user named CoderJoe1 left a comment saying, "If his child was that much more important, then why was he using a school bus? Shouldn't he have coordinated the Secret Service to caravan the child to school?" The OP responded, "That's what I said." Another user named DragonCat left a comment saying, "I lived rural, first on in the morning, last off in the afternoon, over an hour trip. Our bus stop was the road right next to my home, about 100 feet. Since my home faced the bus route road, I was eternally not ready early or on time, 6:30 a.m. PU, would fly out the door when my mom yelled, 'Bus is here.' Over the course of a year or so, my tardiness shifted the actual stop to right at our mailbox. No one ever really complained." The OP responded, "Of course there are some kids whose stops are right by their house, but this was in Jersey City and there were easily 60 to 70 students on each bus. And again, the bus was literally a 30-second walk to and from their house." Our next story is, my mom keeps throwing out my vibrators. I, 18-year-old female, spent a good bit of money a few months ago on getting this vibrator. It was around 90 British pounds. I didn't really use it much, but I'd always kept it in my drawer. My mom, 50-year-old female, is very nosy. When I was looking through my drawer for underwear, I noticed it was gone. She never mentioned it, and neither did I. Even though I barely used it, I was really ticked off because I spent my money on that, and I am an adult, legally now, who is interested in that stuff sometimes, so what's the issue? It's normal. She never brought it up, and neither did I because it felt awkward as we don't really discuss that. I also at the time wasn't sure if she had taken it or it was just somewhere else around my room and I just never found it. A couple of months later, I got another one. It was 30 British pounds. This week, surprise, it had also vanished from my drawer. She has a habit of searching through my room, so now I'm certain she has taken it and more than likely thrown it out. What do I even say to confront her? It's really aggravating me. I'm an adult, it's normal, and it's my money. She has not confronted me about taking it, but I know for sure this time she did, and I know she took the last one too. It's not any of her business, it's my own body, it's really frustrating. I've lost 120 British pounds worth of my stuff. How do I even approach her about this? I do know a lot of you guys are from all over the world, but if it maybe helps translate a little bit more, 120 British pounds is about 160 US dollars. That said, my opinion is OP needs to go at this just unabashedly. Just straight up, Mom, where are the vibrators? OP themselves knows it's normal, that it's okay, that they're an adult and they're allowed to buy those things if they want. If OP dominates that narrative and owns it, the mom can say whatever she wants, but it's always going to be some BS on the back foot nonsense. Even beyond the toys themselves, the fact that she's going through your drawers and just taking anything out, looking through it. What business does your 50-year-old mom have rifling around through your underwear drawer? A user named Martin left a comment saying, I feel like you skipped over the important part. She's going through your stuff. Shame her publicly and let her know if she ever wants to meet her grandkids, then the behavior must stop. The OP replied, this is normal for her. She does it all the time. This time it's just different because she's found something more personal. Martin replied saying, I'm saying it's not normal at all. You're just accustomed to it. You need to set some boundaries. You aren't a child anymore. The OP replied, believe me, I've tried to. I have done everything, said everything, and she just does not care at all. Our next story is, my family disowned me 15 years ago, complete no contact. Now, all at once, they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Disclaimer, part of this is from a post on Am I the Jerk that was removed, then added to the events of today. I don't know if this goes here, I just needed to get it out. I confronted them today and I can't stop crying or shaking. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm finally calming down a little to get this done. So I, 36-year-old male, got into some trouble 15 years ago. I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day, I carry all the shame, guilt, and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up. This is not cultural or religion. It's just shame to the family name. The situation when I was 19, my ID was stolen and was being used in another state and created a situation where my driver's license was suspended nationwide. Somehow, any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. I, however, had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay, but couldn't because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also at the time, my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down. So to try and make ends meet, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that a couple more freelance jobs and I would finally be able to pay the tickets. This was never the case, and the long story short of it, I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing the tickets in my home state. However, my family felt otherwise, and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent and the freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I didn't need them, so a year later, I changed my last name, phone number, and email. My social media is locked down so tight, you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point, I'm happier than I've ever been. Enter current time, and 2 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door, and it was my mom and dad. Again, it had been 15 years, and I hadn't spoken to them. Not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "How did you find me, and what are you doing here?" My mom's response was, $5,000 to a PI. Finally, a search of Facebook with just your first name found you, and the PI confirmed it was you. I responded, "You didn't answer my second question. What are you doing here?" My mom again said, "It's been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you've learned your lesson and you're succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things." I ended with, "Yes, I have learned my lesson. One of them is don't think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed, and I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back." Shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door, and closed all the curtains. I'm guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes, knocking, demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high, and went back to sleep. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sister-in-laws, but the truth is, I don't know any of them, and I don't think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on 2 hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far, that I should have given them a chance, and if I didn't like what they had to say, then I could have told them to go away. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it, but no, they have taken to stalking me. I'll be completely honest, they are harmless, but just a real pain in the butt. And also I've been freaking with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It's kind of funny. If I say yes, then it's game on. The first night he came over and we walked downtown to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to. Another night we went to the adult entertainment store. That was the best one. This past week, the way my days off fell, I had a 5-day stretch, so I decided to go to the city for a few days. I'm walking distance to the Amtrak station, and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time, and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform even were telling me that they were talking to me, and I said that I know, but I don't want to deal with them. The train came, and I got on and left them to watch. I loved it. It got to the point where I finally had to acknowledge them. They weren't going to go away, so we met at the park across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I told them this was the one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge, I was their jury. Thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them that as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of anything and everything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them that why now, after 15 years, are they demanding to be back in my life? And why did they make the decisions they did to disown me? They told me that I ruined the family name, and that the shame I brought to the family was horrible, and that the only way to make it right was to get rid of me. They said that recently, my name had been coming up in conversation, and that the family has grown with a lot of new people, that brother and sister-in-law are asking questions about who is OP. I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with, and the same for a nephew who was born last year, and now should be the time to fix things. They said that looking at my apartment and the life I had, that I must have learned my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I finally cut them off and told them that I couldn't stand to hear any more. I was at the point where I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore, not one person. That they just need to tell everyone the truth. that I was in jail for 2 weeks, and because of this, the decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own and that my one cousin Jean, who's only a cousin by marriage, was the one who was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them that to this day, I'm doing everything on my own and rely on nobody and don't need or want them in any way of my life. They made their decisions and I'm making mine. I told them this will be the last time that we talk, and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me, and that if they continue to follow me around or show up at my apartment, I would have them arrested for trespassing. And I went back home and again locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying since. In my opinion, unless OP is the kind of person that did something you would consider unforgivable or something like that, I think the whole "you brought shame to the family name" and disowning thing is just a ridiculous thing. OP is now some irredeemable because they got a few traffic tickets and their license got suspended out of their own control. I mean, I'm right there with OP. Those people aren't family. A user named This Daydreamer left a comment saying, "They disowned you over a couple of traffic tickets? The real damage to any honor they have is that they didn't help out their son when he was in financial trouble. I'm willing to bet that they want money from you now that you're living a good life." Another user named K. Howard Lotz replied, "For real." I kept reading through thinking, wait, there's gotta be something more. This family disowned their child over a couple of freaking traffic tickets? What the freak? Dude, you did nothing wrong. Stop taking the blame for any of this and please get it out of your head that you shamed the family name. The only people who should be ashamed is them, and quite frankly, if that's the type of family they want to be, I'm thinking there's not much there in the first place. Traffic tickets, unreal. VOP responded, "My cousin Jean came over the other day. I'm not sure what was going through her head, but she just showed up with wine, pizza, and cheesecake. God, I love that woman. I was really struggling with all of this and she could tell. She finally just sat me down and told me what a lot of other people have told me. None of this was my actual fault. I hit the perfect storm and it went into a hurricane. She revealed a lot of family secrets that she felt I needed to know, which really made me look at my parents in a different and truly negative way. That could maybe be a separate updated post." Well, then OP went on to post an update. Update, my family disowned me 15 years ago. Complete no contact. Now all at once they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Many of you have been asking for an update. First and foremost, thank you all for your responses. I was overwhelmed. I read every single one. I just couldn't keep up to respond to them. I also worked some extra shifts and had some really nice overtime, which right now comes in handy. Please just know I wasn't ignoring you. I just couldn't keep up. This isn't the update that many of you were most likely hoping for. I haven't heard from my family since I confronted them. I'm hoping that it's all done and over, but at the same time, I'm thinking they're trying something else. I wanted to address some other things. Many are saying that they're out for money or body parts, that they see I'm successful and such. I can't see this being the case. I truly don't think it is money. If they were able to drop $5,000 for a PI, then I can't see them hurting financially. My dad worked as an ORD for his entire career and made good money. My mom worked for a global corporation as a historical document manager. I didn't ask, but I'm thinking that they might even still be working. Others said maybe they need body parts. I can't see this being the case either because all of this would have been mentioned the first or last time we talked. People have mentioned that they see me successful and want in on it and take the credit, saying that they're responsible for that and how they treated me. I'm successful in my own way. My education is in healthcare management and I work as a unit secretary. I've been here for a while and I truly love my job. I'm at the top of my pay scale and that's okay. I've made a life for myself. Yes, I do have some money stashed away. I live below my means to do what I've done. I'm single, no kids, so it's allowed me to save money. And now on with the update. This is a long update because it's part of a conversation I had with my cousin. I've not heard from any of them since the last meeting where I confronted them. I'm hoping that they're just gone at this point. I truly don't want anything to do with any of them. I don't care that I have nieces or nephews or that I have a new brother or sister-in-law. I would have to know my sister and brother and my parents to know all these new people. And frankly, all of them are strangers, and it just brings up a lot of bad emotions. My cousin Jean is the only person who I have anything to do with, and she's been my rock. I can't begin to thank her enough for all she's done. She's been on vacation for a few weeks, so she doesn't know much of what happened. She got back and came over the other night. She showed up with wine, pizza, and cheesecake. I opened the door and was greeted with, "The wise woman has arrived and brought the makings of a great evening." I started crying to her response. However, it looks like I should have arrived a few days ago. She set everything on the counter and just hugged me to get me calmed down. Finally, as she opened the wine and fixed up dinner, I told her everything. At the end, she got a vindictive smile on her face and was like, "We need to talk. It's time for some family secrets to be told." First, she started with telling me that regardless of what others had said, what happened wasn't my fault. I was stuck in the perfect storm which just blew up. She told me that she saw my folder that had all of the work I had done to fix the problem, but it just didn't go fast enough. She reminded me that I didn't end anyone, I didn't deal substances or anything like that. I was stuck in a situation that didn't get fixed fast enough. She went on to tell me that it was no surprise that when I did the name change that I chose the one I did. Come to find out, it was the last name I was born under, which was my grandmother's, my mother's mother's, last maiden name. Jean said, "Don't let your parents fool you. They're not the pure pillars of community that they want you to believe." I have always known that their relationship was not the best, but when I was born, they were split up, and my mom was trying to hide me from my dad. My grandparents didn't like him, so it was decided to give me my grandmother's family name. She was getting more and more ticked off as she spoke. "So let's talk about names, since they're so heck-bent on how you shamed the family name. Your mother was the one who was born under the influential names. Her mother's family, the name you took, pretty much owned 2 of the local towns in our county. Your grandfather's name owned a few businesses in a different town. Your father's family was never heard of. They were from a different state and moved here for work purposes. Your dad had been writing off of your mother's name and connections. Even to this day, your dad's family is pretty much a bunch of unknowns. On top of that, even if your grandparents were alive, they would have been completely behind you and wouldn't have bought into that whole bullcrap of shaming the family name." The only time I ever saw Jean in a mood like this was when I was in college and when she introduced herself to the class. She looked square at me and made it clear that she had no favorites. All of this has really made me look at my parents in a different way, and none of it is positive. It just reaffirms what I want even more, which is for them to just go away and never come back. To the small few of you saying that this is fake, fan fiction and whatnot, go for it. Apparently all of you live in perfect worlds with perfect families, and you most likely say the same thing to every post you read. I couldn't give 2 craps, a flying freak or a rat's butt what you think. I just need to get this out. You know, why does it seem to happen so often this way, like some form of projection? "You shamed the family name, you've tarnished it, and now we must expel you from the family," says the guy who actually isn't even a part of said family name. And what's up with the mom trying to hide OP from the dad, but at some point just going full in and being fully on board with disowning OP and shaming the family name and whatnot? I mean, it makes me wonder if the mom was the driving force behind the PI and trying to get in contact with OP again. Surely not the shame the family name dad. A user named Sarah Firelily left a comment saying, "Now I wonder if your father is really your father, or if your mom had a whole fling while separated from your dad. This might explain why they disowned you so fast." Also, as I said before, this is all about image and your parents not wanting to look bad in front of their social group since you became a normal functioning adult with what amounts to an average desk job. Who knows if they'll come back at you or just make up some excuse that they tried and you have no heart and can't forgive their minor mistake. The OP responded, "I'm really wanting a DNA test. But to do that, I would need him to submit for one as well. But that would require me to talk to him. At the same time, maybe just have a DNA done and see if any of them matches." A user named Salisbury Witch replied, "Whatever you do, stick with Jean and possibly other relatives. She may know whom else you can trust in the family. Maybe talk with older relatives who can give you more info." The OP replied, "Jean will never go anywhere. It sucks because she's so much older than I am. She's actually older than my parents. When that day comes, I can't imagine what life will be like without her. Truth is, I'm not sure who else there is to talk to. I asked her how she knew all this, and she again pulled a Matlock. We are slightly addicted to that show, because the women who marry into the family know and hear more than we're ever given credit for. Plus, the family gossip leaked a lot of information at one time or another, and she didn't think I heard any of it. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you don't want me to cut you off for 15 years and you want to hear some more crazy entitled parent stories, why not check out that video on the left of the screen right now? Or if you missed my latest video, you can check that out on the right of the screen right now. That said, you are not ashamed to the R. Stephen family name, and I'll see you all next time with some more stories.